Good morning, and thanks for joining us here today on Benton County Enterprises Coaches Show. We are in Week 5. Lincoln Cardinals are going to host the number 5 and undefeated Adrian Blackhawks. First, let's recap Week 4. In Week 4, we saw Lincoln go on the road and beat conference foe Windsor 24-0. Coach, the Cardinals were able to right the ship by putting together 2 wins in a row after a surprising loss at home to Tipton in Week 2. It's always a great feeling to beat a conference rival, a rival that's only 2 years removed from a Class 1 state title. What stood out to you in a game that saw your defense pitch a shutout and your offense go for 300 yards?
I think the biggest thing was our kids' commitment to the game plan. They stuck with things throughout the night. We struggled a little bit offensively, especially early in the game, with some things that we thought we might be able to get done, and we weren't. We made some mistakes in the line of scrimmage, but they stuck in there and continued to fight. And defensively, I thought our kids did a great job all night long, sticking to the game plan. And our challenge in that game, and it's going to be the same this week, is just the physicality. And we met their physicality. I think our kids did a great job.
Well, last week we saw you play without a couple of your key seniors. This week the injury report is even longer. Now you're dealing with 2 holes on the starting offensive line, and your 6th man, so to speak, in that position group is also out. Who can we expect to see to fill in this week in those spots, and how has your senior-laden group handled a week of preparation amidst all the adversity?
It's been a challenge this week, but our kids have done a good job. They have committed to the thing that we talked about. Anytime that you have any adversity in a season or in life, period, it's you can focus on the problems that you have. You can focus on finding solutions, and our kids have done a good job on focusing on trying to find the solutions. We've got faith in the kids that we're going to put in there. We didn't put them in there if we didn't think they could do things. Ashton Wolf will fill in for Dallas, and then we'll rotate Camden Everhart, and we'll rotate Isaac Calm in for Stephen Kranz, and hopefully, we'll be able to get some things done. It's going to take an entire team effort, and that's what we told them. The big thing is we stick to the game plan defensively, play as fast and physical as we did last week, and give ourselves a chance. It's going to be value the football and control field position.
Okay, so last week, some offensive stats against Windsor. We saw your team rush 44 times for 196 yards. That's nearly 4.5 yards per carry. 3 touchdowns also on the ground. Ross Johnson had 32 of those carries for 135 yards and 2 scores. Connor Line, the quarterback, 10 rushes for 56 yards, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion. Caleb Mundy also added 2 rushes for 5 yards. And the passing game, senior Connor Line went 10 for 17, 110 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but added 2 2-point conversions. In the air, Caleb Mundy had 5 receptions for 30 yards and a 2-point. Matt Hesse added a catch for 7 yards. Darren Roberts leading the team in receiving yards. He went 3 for 70. And Anthony Schrader getting involved, 1 catch, 3 yards, and a 2-point conversion. In total, the offense went for 306 yards. Defensively, we saw Connor Line get to play for the first time this season on defense, had a great game, 10 tackles, a tackle for loss, and a pass breakup. Ross Johnson also had 10 tackles. Darren Roberts, 4 tackles, a pass breakup, and an interception. Caleb Mundy also adding 4 tackles, a pass breakup, and an interception. Riley Sanders, the freshman, getting a lot of playing time, 3 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and then Camden Everhart, 3 tackles with 2 tackle for losses. So after this break, we'll look forward to Adrian, the team that Lincoln will be hosting at home, and we'll be right back.
Veracruz Trace Mexican Restaurant in Lincoln, Missouri is proud to support Lincoln and Warsaw High School football. The friendly staff at Veracruz serves delicious and authentic Mexican cuisine Sunday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday through Saturday from 11 to 10. Try it for yourself at 455 North Highway 65 or call it in at 660-547-0315.
So, Coach, here's what we can expect from Adrian. In Week 4, the Blackhawks took on Wellington Napoleon, a conference opponent. They won 28-6. Adrian possibly dealing with some injuries as well. We saw them play Wellington Napoleon without their starting running back. On offense, it seems like they're going to run the football a lot of ISO, a lot of midline fullback dive action, a lot of I-form, and then they're going to sprinkle in some spread pistol looks. From what I can see, the quarterback, number 5, is shifty in the run game a little bit. It seems like he's got a good arm. They don't throw it a ton, but when they do, it seemed like he made some tough passes, at least from what I saw on film. Their starting running back, do you have something to add to that?
Well, as you're going through all those things, I'm just kind of agreeing with you. 5 is a young kid. This is his first year starting. He's replacing an all-state kid, which is always a tough thing to do. He was a 2 or 3 year starter and had a heck of a career over there. And their offense has grown a little bit each week. He also kicks for them and plays corner. He's a tremendous kicker. He's the best kicker that we've seen to this point. We've only seen him punt once. They punted late in the game against Wellington Napoleon, and he punted the ball 50 yards in the air.
Wow.
So he's a very good athlete, and as the year has gone on, his role in their offense and the things that they're doing has grown. 22 is their starting running back. That young man started since he was a freshman. He's a very good player. From my understanding, he had COVID last week and was out.
I see.
So we fully expect him to be back in there this week. He's as good defensively as he is offensively. In my opinion, he's their best player. They got some kids that can really go, but he makes things happen both on offense and defense.
Okay. And to continue on with that, number 24, who filled in for number 22 last week, I believe he's a senior, and plays wing back, it seems, and slot when they're with their normal personnel. But he's got good speed and good vision. He's not going to run anybody over, but he's gonna touch the ball some this week, I imagine.
He touches the ball every week. They'll run some counter and reverse with him. They'll put him in the I formation at different times and run the ball with him. The one formation that they do that they didn't show a week ago against Wellington is they'll get into the 2x2 spread, and they'll put 22 at quarterback. They'll put him at running back, and then you'll get zone read. You'll get counter read. They're just trying to spread the field so that those guys can run the football, and obviously that's going to be a huge key for us getting them, if they get into it during the night, is to take that away.
Absolutely. And then sticking with that I formation, number 36, the fullback, a big, strong, violent ball carrier. He comes through that line of scrimmage and he's looking to hit somebody.
Yeah.
Very physical lead blocker, and they'll hand the ball off to him some.
They do. They run a little bit of midline. Traditionally they've been a split back veer team, so they've had midline, inside veer in their scheme. This year what we've seen is midline and inside trap, and that's his A-gap play, and he runs extremely hard, runs behind his pads. He's tough to tackle, but like we told the kids, if you put his knees together like anybody else, you put him on the ground, and then we've got to rally and tackle. He's going to be a challenge, and when he runs ISO, if he comes downhill, he's going to hit you. And the key to stopping all that stuff is fitting into the right places. You can go in there and it's one thing to do it in practice and to fit against a young kid, but when he comes and brings that challenge, to make sure that you fit in the right place. And every defense, everybody has a place that they fit, and if you gap it out and everybody fits right, you form a wall there that they can't get through. But what happens is he hits you, and the next time he hits you, you decide to jump to the outside of it. You put two guys in a gap, and away the running back goes.
Exactly, and that's 22, showing that speed and getting downhill. As far as their offensive line goes, it seems like they're big. They fire off the ball. They're working to get to the second level. Some of the teams that we've seen them play against, they just dominate the line of scrimmage.
They do. It looks like a bulldozer at times. And if they get you doubled and you don't set in it or stay low to fight through the double team, they're going to run you 10 yards downfield. And I told the kids this week, if you don't get set down in those doubles and pull them down and stay low, you can next week turn on Adrian's highlight tape and watch yourself get run down the field. So you have a choice on how you want to deal with that. And if our kids fit the things right like we did a week ago, we've got a chance.
So you spoke to run fits, staying down, and if you're getting double teamed, to fight through it. My question here, you've kind of touched on, but maybe you can give us a little more insight. How have the Cardinals prepared for this power run look, and then also the physicality that Adrian's offense is going to play with?
The thing that we've tried to do is we go start every day of practice with a little 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 3-on-2, 4-on-2, whatever it is, and we're trying to work on fitting and taking on that lead blocker. So when he comes to you, the thing that you don't want to do is turn your hips. If I'm standing behind you, I should be able to read your number the entire time. If you turn your hips, it's like opening a door. And what you don't realize is that's 3 feet that you've expanded the gap. So being able to take it on and set their offensive blocker into the gap, set yourself into it, squeezes it so you get a straight vertical cut, which means our help from the inside can get there, or the running back has got to flatten and go outside, which allows pursuit to catch up. So we've tried to work each day on doing those things. During that time, we're having our linemen fight a double team. They'll fight a pull block. Just trying to be physical as those things come, and that's the opportunity for us to take our ones versus ones.
Okay. So now moving from the offense to the defense of the Adrian Blackhawks, it seems like they're going to play with a 4-man front. They'll bring some pressure. We talked before the show that pressure usually doesn't come from the interior. They're rushing their outside guys and some blitz looks. 36 shows up on the offensive side. It seems like at defensive end. He plays with that same physicality that he brings on offense. Good size in the front eight. Their linebackers, their defensive line, all big kids. From what I saw on film, and maybe you can touch on this a little bit or even disagree with me, their secondary seems smaller. I mean, I know that's kind of – they're not the big kids that play in the front eight, but are they young? Are they small? Are they exploitable?
You're going to get – you'll see 24, 10, and 5. Their quarterback will be in there, and 24, obviously, that running back and wing. They'll play 32 out there some. This week with those guys being healthy, I expect their linebackers to be 22, 55, 44, and 20, which frees up 32 to move outside. But those kids are younger kids. They're good athletes.
Mm-hmm.
They run well. They're not afraid to stick it in there and tackle. But compared to their box, the 8 in the box, they are different. Their box is special.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel like playing 4-4 cover 3, they're just going to stay over the top and force you to try to throw the ball underneath and see if you can do it for a long period of time and handle those guys in the box, because they're going to bring pressure. When you see 36 bring his hand up off the ground, they're probably bringing one of those outside linebackers in. When they load 36 and 22 on the side, you can see 26 fold inside. You'll get a linebacker and defensive end stunt. The linebacker will go outside. The end will go outside and the linebacker will come inside. You typically get that to an open end. So it's stuff that we talked about, stuff that we showed the kids. It's whether we can go out and execute tonight or not.
Exactly. Okay, so with a few more injuries piling up in the win against Windsor, there wasn't a lot of time to celebrate or hang on to that one, so to say. And then especially with arguably the most difficult section of your schedule now upon you, what's the key to scoring points in a game that has the potential to be a defensive battle?
I think it's going to be the same thing offensively and defensively for us, is that we've got to make them think at the line of scrimmage. If they just get off the ball and play fast, then we're going to have a problem. But if we can make them think as far as where our alignments are, we're attacking A gap, we're attacking C gap, we're trying to get outside of D gap, put our athletes out in space. We hope that we can slow some of that stuff down. Right now we're going to try to trap 36, we're going to try to read 36, we're going to try to double 36. We're going to make him a little bit uncomfortable if we can. If he's able to just play down the hill and play fast, he can change a game in a hurry.
Would you say he is who you're game planning against most in that front eight?
I wouldn't say that necessarily he's the one that we game plan for the most. If you take a look at film, 63 will line up on the other side. He does some similar things, and they're big and fast in front with their 2 down kids, and they rotate some bodies in there. What they do a great job of is getting off the football and getting their hands into you. So if you don't get off the ball and you keep using the word fit, but that's what we talk about when we make contact. If we're fit and our hands are inside and our butts are down and we're in a great leverage position, we can handle that. But if we're standing up and we're slow off the ball, they're going to eat up that space and get into us in a hurry. Okay,
you heard it here first. We're going to go to another commercial, and we'll be right back.
Are you missing that human touch with your bank? Come talk to a real person at Community National Bank and Trust. We're your local bank that's small enough to know you, yet big enough to offer the best products. Stop by and see us at 101 South 65 Highway in Lincoln or 1695 Hilltop Drive in Warsaw. Your community, your bank, your relationship. Community National Bank and Trust. Federally insured, locally awesome. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Thank you for joining us today. The Lincoln Cardinals will host the 5th-ranked Adrian Blackhawks tomorrow night. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. If you're not able to attend in person, remember Brett Bryan and I will be live on BCE TV at www.citylinktv.com, as we are every week, roughly 10 minutes before kickoff. Thanks for joining us. For Lincoln head coach Brad Drehle, I'm Lane Johnson, and we'll see you next week.
This has been a BCE TV production. Thank you for watching.